Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Infinity Usual. Welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. So, unfortunately, I haven't been able to upload very much, but I will be getting a brand new PC soon, so we'll get back to normal uploading. But first, before I start the video, I do have a website up selling Ace Combat hoodies and merch, as well as a few other items. I will be adding to it pretty soon. The website isn't 100% finished, maybe about 80%. But for now, let's just get into the video, and then I'll be able to mention it at the end, so make sure you check it out. Buy you some Ace Combat hoodies. Project Aces didn't exactly have it too easy when they were making Ace Combat 7. They were learning a brand new game engine, plus they did have the community and corporate kind of breathing down their throat to go on and get them to push the game out. But Kono, being the great developer he is, and the great leader he is of Project Aces, which is consisting of about 20 people, did an amazing job and made the best selling Ace Combat game in the series. Even though it wasn't really to par in gameplay when it came to Infinity, 6, or the Holy Trinity, it still was pretty good, and I really do have to give them credit for being rushed the way they were and still being able to put out a very good product. So I don't want this to be a video bashing Project Aces in any kind of way, because it is in fact a very good game for a rushed one. So to continue, let's talk about some of the aspects of the game and how it kind of affects Project Aces and the development. And because there are some things that didn't exactly go as planned, kind of like the lighting in the game. They did have to restart the game because of the lighting. There are some issues you couldn't exactly see in the missions, so they had to restart. Plus the Arsenal bird didn't originally have the shield, so they did have to originally restart with the Arsenal bird. But the product came out pretty good. In my opinion, it's not as good as the older Super Fortresses, but it was still pretty good for what they had to do with the game, which I will continue on with the rest of the video about that. So let's hop into that and see what that's all about. COVID-19 struck, and things didn't go exactly as planned. No one expected COVID-19 to come around, but that really did heavily affect Project Aces, because Top Gun was supposed to come out, and if you didn't notice, they were supposed to have the DLC out way earlier than expected with Top Gun, but because of COVID, Top Gun had to be delayed, meaning that DLC had to be delayed, meaning everything that came with the Top Gun aircraft, such as the War Dog skins and the Raspberry skins, they were delayed because they were supposed to be out with the F-14A, and also the F-18E was delayed, the Darkstar was delayed, so a lot of things ended up getting delayed, and they weren't able to basically put out the DLC, let alone anything else, because they all had to split up temporarily for COVID and quarantine just like the rest of us did. If you notice in the wallpaper, we were supposed to have the F-117, we were supposed to have the F-14As earlier, and also we're supposed to have the IU and Mobius skins, but things don't exactly go as planned. I don't exactly know what happened to the F-117 with the DLC, and don't exactly know what happened with the F-14A aside the Top Gun theory that I just talked about. And speaking of the F-117, basically got the Adler treatment that it got in Ace Combat 5, where they didn't exactly have enough time to add it in, because if you noticed, we do have NPC models for it, and I do believe that it was meant to be added in, but they didn't have time to do it. So the next thing I want to bring up is, why is the game dead? Alright, so let's talk about why the game is dead. So think about it from a new player's perspective. You just get back into Ace Combat, really enjoying the game, but there's just something kind of missing after a little bit of time passes. You do the story, you unlock all the skins, all the planes, just something feels like it's missing. And also a lot of the other community, they have also experienced this, which is pretty much when they don't have any more content, which is also why I have had trouble uploading, and I have had trouble trying to find out stuff to make and give you guys some content, because there's not really any content to give. Meaning, if there's not any content, then everything's going to eventually dry out, especially with no news about the brand new game aside that it is being worked upon by Project Aces, and also the team has expanded to the Idolmaster developers also, which they are helping out with the new game. So as far as news goes, it has been in the works for almost 2 years now, and then if it's incorrect when I said that, I'll pull it up. It's right here, you can see it for yourself, but it is pretty dry. We haven't had anything, not even so much as a peep or a trailer or any interviews, so hopefully we do get something like that soon. But the other part that does kind of drown it out So let's say you get bored of campaign, you get bored of all of that stuff. You're going to want to go to something new. Multiplayer is probably the way to go, especially with the money system in the game. If you're a new player, you're going to want something that makes you a little bit more money so you can unlock all the other stuff. And also I'll talk about the aircraft tree and stuff in the next part, which is part of why this game is very grindy with the money at the start. There isn't any new content with multiplayer at all. I wish they would do something as simple as add in new maps. And everyone's talking about co-op. Co-op wasn't added because, again, they were learning Unreal Engine 4 and didn't really know what they were doing too much, aside from the fact it's a new engine. And they did what they could and they still made a great product, but they did not know how to implement the AI into the campaign. I'm sorry, not the campaign, the multiplayer. They did not know how to implement AI into the multiplayer, therefore we did not get co-op. And also that explains why we did have level 2 air to ground parts, even though they are completely useless because it is completely PvP. But I also heard that there were voice lines that were supposed to be in co-op for Ace Combat 7, but they never got around to it. So something simple they could have done is just simply add in just some maps. Like Lighthouse could have been there, and there's a lot of other maps that could have been in there. Like they could have added Pipeline, they could have added Stonehenge, Cape Rainy. There's multiple maps that could have been implemented into the multiplayer, which will make it more understandable about why the game is dead, because there aren't just something simple as brand new maps. Also, I wanted to mention, there's one really important thing that I wanted to mention, that there should have been a little bit more explanation about this. So let's say you're a new player, you hop into multiplayer, some dude just innocently pulls up with an SC-35 and starts post-stall maneuvering. So how do the new players know that? There's not a tutorial, there's not like a loading screen description, there's nothing to tell you what's going on in the game. It just looks like some kind of exploit, which also it can be exploited, which that would be the PSM chaining, the flying backwards, pretty much the stuff that you see in 1v1s and stunt videos, which also got a lot of videos up with that if you'd like to see it. But anyways, enough advertising. The PSM mechanic kind of does ruin a lot, because you can get some pretty stupid missile shots on people. You can backward fly and exploit your movement and your plane's missile angles and all that kind of thing. New players don't really know how to counter that, let alone they don't know how to activate it or do any of that, let alone they don't even know that it exists unless they look up some videos about why is this plane moving around like it shouldn't. So that can also drive new players away, especially casual players, because the competitive community is really small compared to the entire community that just plays casually or just plays for the lore. So because of that, that can drive away new players because they don't know what that is, and it's not really fair to them because they got all these level 1 part planes, and also they got things that they don't really understand in the game, such as certain mechanics, and they also don't understand certain dogfight styles, and they really can't understand that because all they really know how to do is boom and zoom because of some of the part system. But actually, let me get into that right now about what happened to the game, which I will start off with that. So starting off with that, first thing I want to talk about is the part system. So me personally, I did not like the part system in the game. I felt like it ruined it because simply it goes with the aircraft tree. I didn't like the aircraft tree either. So I'm going to talk about those hand in hand. The classic Ace Combats, you can earn your aircraft. So I like how Ace Combat 5 implemented both the earning system and credit system, and also it added in the aircraft tree factor of having different variants of each aircraft. I like that. But here's the problem with it. If you're a newbie, like, oh cool, I see the F-22 Raptor, I see the F-16, I see the F-18, I see the MiG-29, I see the Su-37, you'd be like, oh no, I can't get it, I gotta buy all these parts first, it's so annoying, and I can't sell my planes to be able to get something more for it. That's why I don't like the aircraft tree, because you have to buy a whole bunch of other stuff and spend your hard-earned money on something you don't want to spend it on. And it makes it worse that you can't sell your aircraft. Let's say I was flying a Tornado in the older games and I get to a mission where we need like really heavy air-to-air planes, so I go buy an F-15 or go buy a Typhoon. But oh no, I can't afford it. What do? Oh yeah, I can just go sell my plane and then I can go trade it out and give me a Typhoon or something that'll fit this mission, or just a cool plane that I want. Ace Combat 7, you can't sell planes, and also you run out of money very quickly because you're buying all these parts that you don't know what they do. And even though there's a description, if you're a casual player, like, do you really want to spend all that time learning how all those parts work and what they do? It gets pretty annoying. So for a new player, I understand, you just kind of want to get in the game, you just want to play, you just want to enjoy it. But you can't really do that with the aircraft tree system or the part system. So it gets kind of annoying. And even with the part system, speaking of that, and with the multiplayer, as I was saying before, think about it like this. You're a new player, you come into multiplayer just to have some fun, but everyone else is level 2 parts, you have level 1, so automatically you're playing sucks and you have to grind your way all the way up. Not saying there's anything wrong with a grind, but I mean, there is kind of an unfair advantage, an unfair grind, and it will make the multiplayer not fun, because all you're going to do is just get killed. And us also, while we have a whole bunch of boom and zoomers, because they don't know any better. And with the level 1 parts, that's all they can really do, just boom and zoom, because if they get close range, they're going to get murdered. Because everyone else is level 2 parts and they have level 1, and they're kind of stuck there, so I don't really blame them. Not to mention level 2 aircraft parts. Let's say you just got like a 6am or whatever, just literally any weapon for that matter, and you don't have any parts but level 1 stuff. You're going to get one shot in a multiplayer, you're going to get outmaneuvered. It's not fair. And also that would drive away casual players, as they would see it as not fun. So there's a lot of things that drive people away from the game, which I don't really agree with, how Project Ace has implemented that. But I'm not saying that it shouldn't be implemented at all. It can definitely be implemented differently, except the part system. That should just be taken out in general. I feel like they should just leave that for the weapons, and then whatever the level 1 maneuverability is for all the aircraft, I'd say leave that in the game, and all the planes should come like that as they are, and no maneuverability parts. But weapons, I say keep some of those, because it does add kind of different playstyles and different variants of stuff. But if not, keep it like the older Ace Combat. It worked for Infinity. I wouldn't say so for 7. I didn't like it. But if you have a different opinion on it, please let me know in the comments, and then, because I will really love to see your opinions on it. Another reason I didn't really like Ace Combat 7 was the AI. The AI just didn't feel very competitive. I felt like Join Assault's AI was a little bit better, which that's actually saying a lot. And plus, Ace Combat 7's AI just kind of feels like Join Assault's to me. So another reason I didn't like Ace Combat 7's AI is because they didn't try to fight you. The ADFX-10 had the best AI in my opinion, because it actually tried to fight you. And also, it didn't feel like it was on a rail system. It was a very fun fight, and I wish Mihai was more like that, but you know, can't ask for everything. So I wish they spent a little bit more time on the AI, even though they were rushing. I wish they spent a little bit more time on that, because the campaign just isn't fun, and you can't really push your skills to the limit, and you can't really push your planes to the limit. The AI just could have been a lot better. The AI could have been more aggressive. The AI could have had a lot more potential. But they just kind of mindless bots, and it's not fun to fight them. Take a look at this clip here. Like in Join Assault, you can see that the AI is actively trying to fight me. They're constantly in a turn fight. And keep in mind, this is Join Assault, which is not a very good Ace Combat in terms of gameplay, but it's still one of the most stupidly fun ones in my opinion. One of my favorites. You can judge me all you like. But the AI in Join Assault was better, which that's saying a lot. Ace Combat 7's AI does not try to fight you. They just happen to get lucky and get behind you, fire a missile, and they just run away and fly in a straight line like a drag racer. It's not very fun to fight, so I think the AI could have been improved a lot. And I feel like that's why a lot of people, including myself, are on multiplayer, because the AI just is not fun. And you can't really push your skills in campaign, and you can't really have too much fun because of the part system. You can't put level 2 parts in there. So you really can't push your plane to the limits, which I find that pretty stupid, that you can't put in level 2 parts in the campaign. And as I was going on about the AI, you can't use those parts against the AI to enhance yourself and unlock your full potential. Even without the level 2 parts, you can't do it because the AI just simply is not good enough to just fly in a straight line, and it's boring. I wish that the AI had a little bit more competition to them. Even on Ace mode, it's just boring. So the AI is definitely one of the biggest things I did not like in the game. Especially take a look at this comparison clip of what happened between without the AI being modded and with the AI being modded. And it's kind of sad to have to mod it for it to be fun, and even if it's modded, it's just still the same thing. They're just faster and they fly like Mihai, and they still don't try to fight you. It's extremely boring. But anyway, that's one of the major things, if not my number one grief about the game. So I have one more that I'd like to talk about right here. So there's some more things that happened with the game too that I didn't particularly like about it. There are some really useless stuff in there. We have the F-18s. I don't have a problem with the F-18 at all. Great aircraft, but why do we have 4 of them? Like seriously, why do we have 4? The Block 3 is basically a copy paste of the F-35. And as for the TGM F-18, why couldn't they just put that skin on the F-18E? Like the standard one. I wish they would just do that. And the F-14A, they didn't need a TGM variant. They should have just put it on the standard one. As well as the Su-57, they should have just put those skins on a Su-57 itself. And obviously the Dark Star, you know, that's fine. But we don't need 4 different variants of the F-18. The F-18F is cool, the E is cool. Having 2 different variants of that, that's nice. Although I would prefer a different variant other than the F-18F. I like single seaters, but of course people are going to have some opinions on this part of the video. But I'm pretty sure that we can all agree nobody asked for the F2 Super Kai. Nobody asked for that. Like literally not a single soul asked for that. So since nobody asked for that, they should have put in different planes such as the Tornado, the F-20, F-117, something along those lines. They should have added something else. And also, I don't understand why they did not add in their own original aircraft from Ace Combat X or from Infinity. They could have ported over things. And honestly, the models in Infinity, they are really good. If you haven't noticed, that's what our modders use. So check them out, Nexus Mods. But seriously, they should have added those in. They're really good models, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty easy to implement them. If our modders can do it, I know Project Aces can. I'd say that they should have added those for more content if they're running out of stuff. But like I said from the beginning of the video, things don't always go as planned. I don't really see a purpose in the F2 Super Kai and also having 4 different variants of the F-18. And also same thing with the F-15. I don't see why the F-15J is in there. It's literally a copy paste of the F-15C. The stats are the same, just different weapons, different skins. It's literally the same plane. The F-15J, I don't particularly agree with the fact that that was in there. I feel like they should have added something different. I feel like they could have added a different aircraft like the ones I've mentioned earlier, or even add in like an original aircraft. Unfortunately, that can't happen because the game's already out. But I feel like there could have been some better decisions made about the game. I'm saying all this because I really do care about the game. It is an amazing game, but there are some things that could have been fixed. But even though it's a rushed game, it definitely was a success. It still was best selling. And obviously there's more that I wish I could say about the game that I can't exactly think of at the moment. So if you want a part 2 on it, please let me know. I would love to see your opinions on it. Make sure you check out my website in the description and the pinned comment. Join the Discord. I'll see you guys soon.